Hello, hello, and welcome to some more Hero Infinite with Arm.
Hello, that is
Oh,
me.
Jesus Christ, I have you very loud. Hold on.
Oh.
Professional.
Speaking of professional, you're currently watching the Arma edit of this episode. If you want to see the raw footage for some reason, you can find a link to it in the upper right-hand corner, right there.
Alright, to reintroduce once again, this is just Hero Infinite Superhero Campaign. Not all episodes are necessarily connected. This is another example of an episode that does not require you to have watched the previous ones, so if this is your first time jumping in, don't worry. If you want to understand the rules of Heart of Action, the tabletop system we're using, they can be found within the Discord server. Links all over, sometimes below, sometimes off on, like on YouTube they're below, on Twitch they're in another tab, on Tumblr they're on my main page. You know, just look around, you'll find a link to the Gas Network and be able to read the rules. We're using Heart of Action 2022, the 1.1 update is the specific document. Real quick, there was a fantastic piece of, teaser art that Arm had made. And Arm, for that fantastic piece of teaser art, I'm going to give you 10 hero points right off rip. Okay. So go ahead and jot those down somewhere.
I am Carbide, an advanced artificial intelligence made by a clone of brilliant scientist Ruben Vermeer. And it is my duty to save humanity.
Set scene, camera sprawling across a neon dystopia apocalypse as robots march against human resistance.
But the world has been in a steady decline for the last several decades. It all began back in the year 2022. A scientist by the name of Ruben Vermeer, a brilliant man, was working on advancements in robotics.
What's the program called again, Arm?
He created
Crimson 1.
Yeah, when he created the artificial intelligence Crimson 1, a self-teaching AI that was meant to help humanity. But it grew out of hand. It started slow, with it offering assistance to all branches of life: medical research, military planning, scientific advancements. But once humanity relied on it, it turned on them. A robot uprising spread across the world. Overnight, civilization collapsed, and the few surviving humans became part of a resistance movement. The head of the resistance movement being a clone of the original creator of Crimson 1. Several generations of Ruben Vermeer's passed, all leading the resistance, trying to find different ways to defeat Crimson 1. Viruses, reprogramming, EMPs, but Crimson 1 was always one step ahead, always knew exactly what Ruben was planning to defeat it and had something in place to survive. But that's where I come in. The most recent Ruben Vermeer created me. I am not just an artificial intelligence. I have been given a full feed of history and probability to predict alternative flows of time. And alongside me, my glorious master has created a time machine that can take one human back in time. Him. I have been uploaded into his crown, a special device that will take us back. I have pinpointed the perfect moment for us to go, where Ruben may speak to himself, to his previous iteration, and convince them to not create the program that would end humanity. We sit now in the secret headquarters of the resistance movement, a large underground lab Ruben Vermeer has made, and I'm about to be dawned upon him in his surgery table where... Oh no.
And as we slide into the scene, an explosion has just gone off, and a single laser flew across the room and blew out the brains of Ruben Vermeer. The number of resistance members who are sitting around the operation table are immediately thrown into a panic. the actual room we're in is, the best way to describe it is like, what is the dome Xavier sits in X-Men? Do you know what it's called, Arm?
No, I would describe it as a metal dome that Xavier sits in.
Cerebro.
Ah.
Something similar to Cerebro, if you look that up. The big circular room he sits in with like a platform in the middle. Think Tank. I think Think Tank is from Fallout. So they were in like a big circular room that had like a number of Resistance members were sitting around and typing at different terminals that lined the sides of the dome-shaped, or the ball sphere-shaped room. Ruben's brains are blown out everywhere, and robots immediately begin spilling in. Resistance members start freaking out. Oh god! He's dead! What do we do? We need to send someone back, anyone back! Does anybody have cerebral implants? We can only put the device in someone's cerebral implant. And with that, they all turn to somebody sitting across the room. One of the many assistants of Ruben Vermey. The young, blonde, bend over. Wait, why is it not? Hang on. There we go. Bend over.
Hey.
Sorry, they look to the young blonde. Sorry, I just realized I said your name. They look to a young blonde boy. He doesn't actually have the head antennas yet. Ignore those. We didn't have a way to make it without the head antennas. So he's young blonde boy, cybernetic ears, cybernetic eye, wearing combat armor, a jersey, and, you know, just scrapped together clothing as a member of the Resistance. Oh, hang on, I just
He's
realized
currently cowering in fear behind one of the many desks as he's getting fucking attacked by robots.
Yeah, hang on, I gotta crop the top a tiny bit more.
Give him that crop top.
There we go. That should get rid of the little... Yeah, the little black line's gone now. There we go. Words. Yeah, they all panic and they're like, does anybody have any, we need someone with cerebral implants. And they all look over to you and you could hear what they were saying and you see them all looking at you as like the robots start. The robots are, the easiest way to put them is, they're all sorts of different kinds. Like, to basically picture your own interpretation of terrifying killer robot, and that's what's spilling in through the roof. But yeah, they all look over at Ben.
Oh, crap.
Get on the table, fast! We need to send someone back, and you're the only one that has a cerebral implant!
I don't know about this,
A number of them start describing you and immediately, like, shoving you towards the surgery table as they're all panicked. And they take the sort of, like, crown-shaped black apparatus and they bring it down around your head and starts, like, basically, like, using their tools, they start, like, cutting open the sides of their robotic parts and wiring it into you because your implant wasn't primed to have this attached. And immediately, like, there's, like, laser fire, like, people freaking out, explosions, all this surgery is going on. Come on, hurry up! We need to get him back as soon as possible! Sorry, I'm trying to get the message through to Carbide inside right now. She's prepping to launch back the moment she's wired into him. What? She's okay with this? As okay as she can be. And then immediately one of the robots drops down, aims their gun at the side, like, basically point blank at Ben's head. And they're, like, one of the guys, like, as the robot drops down, it, like, crushes one of the guys performing the surgery underneath it, aims its gun at Ben. And then, right as it's about to fire, a flash of purple light envelops your vision. And then, there's calm breeze brushes across you, and you see the sun above you. Something that you haven't actually ever seen, because part of the robot war was that the sky got blotted out in an attempt to shut down all the solar-powered robots. Didn't work out. The robots just found other sources of power. So, you sit up and you realize you're sitting in a nice green field with trees around you.
Am I dead?
Sadly,
Is this
you're
heaven?
not the one who's dead, you hear in your head.
Oh my god. Is that you?
Designation Carbide. I was supposed to accompany my creator into the past. But I guess my probability matrix was a little faulty. I thought we had at least another 20 minutes before the rebel base was attacked.
What you're saying is... Oh, no.
We are now in the distant past of the year 2022. January 11th of 2022 specifically. And now I'm stuck here with you. You might want to adjust your headpiece. They didn't have full time to plug you in. I don't want to fall off of you. Or at least, I don't want our time dilators to fall off.
You I imagine reach up and start like plugging things in fully.
Yeah, very hesitantly and awkwardly, worried that I'll fry my brains out if I touch it wrong.
Now that I've been wired into you, I'm fully uploaded into the cerebral implants in your brain. Even if our temporal displacement devices got broken off, I'm stuck with you now. Getting a full diagnosis on what I have to work with.
And all of a sudden you see a bunch of like text running over your vision.
Let's see here. Oh, you're equipped with a stealth field. I can exaggerate that using our temporal displacement abilities to make it more effective. A robotic limb capable of both practical and combative uses. And that's all you had contained within you?
It's what Ruben had given me.
Performing updates on temporal displacement device, I'm missing a number of key elements needed to operate at full capacity. I can barely displace us within time. We're stuck here. You'd better not mess this up, because we aren't getting a second chance anytime soon.
I'm sorry. I'll try my best.
Alright. Running diagnostic on our current position. Planet, Earth, good. Location, Discordant City Central Park. I was able to plan this roughly where we're supposed to be. Fantastic. Well, our goal is simple. We need to locate the original Ruben Vermeer of Vermeer Industries, which is based out of here in Discordant City.
What was it, Scarlet one? I keep forgetting.
It's the Crimson one.
Crimson one.
Convince him to not create Crimson One. It's such an easy task, even an idiot like you should be able to do it.
Ouch.
I've already done a full scan of your mental capacity, and you do not come anywhere close to the brilliance of my creator. But you're what I have to work with.
I can't disagree with that.
I'm going to try to tweak with your stealth field a little bit.
As she says that, you feel a tingle run over your body.
There we go. I've made all of your cybernetic implants look like a normal human. You'll be able to blend into with the city now once we start walking around.
Okay. I'm just gonna try and bring up my hand in front of my vision to see if I see it differently too.
It looks not like a human arm, but like not like a... It just looks like a normal human prosthetic limb. Like a normal person's prosthetic limb, I should say. You know.
Okay.
Oh, what? Did you want it to look full human?
No. I don't know if we discussed. I had made some changes since the first. Like, it's more human looking now and has the like shapeshift.
And its default appearance, it's supposed to look human. Okay, I didn't know that bit. So
Sorry.
You look at your arm and it looks normal human army.
Alright.
There's a little lake nearby if you want to look at your reflection, I suppose.
Yeah. Is there anyone else, or is it just like a remote park?
You're sort of like in the middle of the park where no one was walking around, so nobody nearby saw you just appear. Like underneath you, there's like that slight like. Have you ever seen Terminator? How like it creates like the little crater in the ground wherever they teleport. You got that situation going on.
All right. I'm gonna walk over to the pond and like.
And as you look, you can see you've got two like. you got 2 human eyes. You still got your scar, and the eye underneath the scar has sort of like a... You know the way like a damaged eye has like not proper color in the iris?
Yeah.
It's got sort of that appearance, and you've got like normal human ear on one side, and on the other side your ear is a little bit damaged looking. Like you got a little bit of cauliflower ear going on the side that's scarred. Well, you know, you look human.
Huh. Been a while.
Bend a stick. Sleepy in chat.
Alright. Well, get moving. We don't want to waste time. We only have about 2 months before the moment in which Crimson One is to be created.
Okay. Alright. Where is he?
He'd most likely be within the Vermeil Industries Tower, located in downtown Discordant, which, conveniently, we're just a stone's throw away from. Well, a stone's throw for a Mega Death Bot, of which we will be up to our necks in if you don't start walking in that
purple
direction.
arrow appears in your vision, pointing in a direction.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm on my way.
Hella
walking that direction.
Mm-hmm. You guys start, like, you know, walking through the park, it's like, you know, all nervous, and, you know, you've never been in, like, a non-destroyed city, and glancing around, you realize this area does have a familiarity to it. And you start walking along, and then you stop in your tracks as you look at a nearby cresting hill. And with that, we flash to a moment in the past. A younger Ben walking through the wasteland, scavenging for supplies. There's a shopping cart tipped over with some old cans on top of the hill. He carefully scurries up and starts to dig through, when suddenly the ground bursts open and one of the 12-foot tall death robots emerges, pointing its gun directly at him. You believe you're gonna die, when suddenly it gets blasted to bits. And we're now in that moment in the past, as I'm describing this. So how does Ben react to seeing a death robot that nearly killed them blast them to bits?
I'm gonna try and grab at least some supplies and then start booking it the other way.
You start scrambling, grabbing the cans, and you realize they were all empty. It was a booby trap. You're overwhelmed with disappointment when suddenly the robot falls on you and you black out. As your vision fades, you briefly see a large, muscular man with a rugged red beard approaching you, carrying like a laser cannon over his shoulder, like a rocket launcher scale one. Wow. The survivor. Quickly, and then you black out. The base. And back in modern day, aka the distant past of 2022, you're just sitting there like staring at the hill, realizing that's where you first met Ruben.
Huh. That's it.
That's what? That doesn't look like Vermeil Industries Tower to me.
And I'm just gonna walk over on top of the hill.
Oh, God, he's sentimental. Listen, I'm sure you have so many wonderful memories of whatever weird people you hooked up with in the apocalyptic hellscape we left. But we need to hurry up to... Oh. I'm registering your memories. It's where you met my wonderful master. I can see the moments, and I understand why you followed him. So majestic, armed with that
I'm gonna,
cannon.
like, as I'm on the hill, look around. I assume Vermeil Industries isn't necessarily easy to miss.
As you look around, your eyes settle on a spot in the skyline, which you recognize as where the Crimson One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as where the Crimson Citadel would stand in your time. Crimson Citadel being a tower that literally reached into orbit. But where it should sit, you see a piddly skyscraper, you know, only about like a couple hundred stories tall, poking up over the cityscape, visible from the park. the whole building being gold and red in color and saying Vermeil Industries along the side of it.
The nice purple arrow probably pointing directly at it.
Like floating above it, being like video game UI style.
I don't think I've ever been there.
You wouldn't be alive if you had been. It's a proper citadel in our time. No human ever went there. Not even the Ruben Vermeil we knew.
Oh. Well, there shouldn't be any death robots yet, right? So...
No, the death robots don't get rolled out for another 4 months.
Nothing
And
scary
I'll,
about
start
it.
walking again, but
Ben doesn't believe it. He's anxious as fuck.
As you start walking over, they're like, huh.
Although I suppose they weren't death robots when they were introduced, they were police force robots. It was a slow burn after all. Crimson had a way of planning around things. Luckily, my AI is built on fragments of Crimson's. Therefore, I'm able to get an idea of exactly what course of action they would take. And seeing as the fact that they haven't even been created yet, they likely don't have any plan for our presence yet.
So, you can start just, walking through the city, and soon you start noticing a couple of kids playing ball. Just or playing baseball. They one of them carrying the baseball bat, a weapon you're very familiar with, as they hit a small ball and it soars off into the distance. A number of other kids running after it to try and catch it, and the kid who hit the ball starts running around a little diamond on the ground. What's he running from?
I've never considered using that as a projectile weapon.
It's not intended to be a weapon. They're entertaining themselves with what humans used to refer to as football, ball.
Huh. I mean, look at him run. So much footwork.
Still, you think with a name like football you would use your foot to hit the ball. Although from my understanding, the original football did do that when it was created by the Indonesians. That doesn't feel right. I'm worried my databanks may have been damaged from being hooked up to such an inferior mind. Hopefully it doesn't affect my predictive algorithms too much.
So, do you continue walking?
Yes, a little crestfallen.
You continue walking along, every now and again some people glance over at you and you hear somebody call, it's like, "Hey idiot, Comic-Con was 2 months ago!" Some people glancing over, some people not really paying much heed.
Right. People probably aren't used to seeing individuals in battle gear. Perhaps I should
And you
just
feel your
ask
whole
that
body
as well.
tingle again as you're now just in a full sports jersey and cargo pants.
Right. This is so strange. Just people walking around.
With no fear of their imminent destruction. They don't even know what's coming. Although with any luck, nothing will be
So
coming from
you
them
just
at all.
continue on.
In his head, Carbide might realize that he's trying to think of... What happens if we stop him? Like the
Will I
whole
be
time
erased?
conundrum bullshit.
Wondering, will you disappear from existence or what?
Mm-hmm.
You realize I can hear your thoughts.
What? Oh, I mean, even if that was the case, it would be for a good cause.
I hope you aren't having second thoughts. Though, that being said, we would not be erased from existence. We've been removed from the time stream.
Yeah, and I can imagine the cartoon visuals showing how timeline works.
Ruben had performed numerous calculations and tests before this point, and he came to a conclusion. There is one definitive timeline, and that was on a set path. The question then became, could he change it? And that was answered by a hint from another timeline sending back messages. See, anytime something is sent backwards in time, the entirety of the future is put into a pending state of sorts. As we stand here, the entire future we know does still occur as we would expect it to. But the moment we make a change, that timeline will be completely erased from existence, a new one left in its place. And we will simultaneously exist within our previous timeline and the new timeline. It's how Ruben was able to create the time machine so quickly. In the original iteration, it took him decades of work. For us, he got it done in mere months, because he was given advice and plans from another him.
It all sounds really complicated, not gonna lie.
Just rest easy in the fact that we will not be erased from existence should our mission be successful. Though I suppose that also means we won't know it's successful until it isn't. But of course, that's why I was sent back. My predictive algorithm should be able to foresee any likelihood of Crimson One's creation once we're interacting with Ruben.
At this point, you're hitting the edge of the park, and you can see, like, the cars driving by, and, like, you know, the large skyscrapers of Discordant City, and you're just like, you know, in your time, most of these were floored. You know, they were demolished in order to make space for the expansion of the Crimson Citadel. And cars, you only would see a small handful being used by Resistance members. You've never seen this many in one place.
I expected the cars to be hostile Tesla style, like just
oh my
Teslas
god,
chasing you down. That's
such a good point. Yeah, there would have totally been fucking evil smart cars in the robot army. The Resistance drove mostly, like, old, like, 90s cars, you know? Like, well, I guess some early 2000s ones, you know, all pre-smart cars.
It's the cars that mums would drive around, like, children to soccer games.
Yeah. Straight up, like, SUVs and stuff for the Resistance movement.
Alright.
So fucking... like, how does Ben react to seeing a bunch of smart cars driving along the road, then?
He'll probably fucking yeet himself in the nearest bush.
Just run into cover.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
See them, right? He gestures broadly at the rows of cars.
Crimson One hasn't been created yet. The AI contained within those cars is rudimentary at best. They do not have any targeting software to drive them into you, yet. In fact, the contrary, their targeting software is focused on driving away from you.
The comedic timing of a driver almost hitting one of the children that plays football.
Oh my god. That's awful, but I'll give you... First, hero point for jumping into the bush, then hero point for that idea. Like, Has Carbide is saying that, like, a kid chasing the, fucking soccer ball runs into the road. And, like, the car, like, stops on a dime.
See? The software is programmed to not
like
harm human beings.
Fucking hesitant deer, he crawls from the bush.
Continue walking, so deer, like, starts to, like, cross the road carefully.
Yeah, I think that's better than just dashing and getting hit by a car.
I'm low-key, I was about to say, I low-key love the idea of, like, Ben not understanding crosswalks or jaywalking, so you're just walking across the middle of the busy road and cars are stopping and people are getting angry and honking horns.
Honestly, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He starts running as the evil bitch of an AI starts pushing him too.
Yeah, and he just, like, sprints across the road filled with horror. His fucking cars are, like, narrowly dodging around you and stopping and honking. God, yeah, get out of the road! And you, like, get to the other side of the sidewalk and you're just like,
That was terrifying.
Not as terrifying as it will be when they're actually aiming for you, which they will be if we don't hurry up!
I'm on it!
We currently only have...
God, I'm trying to think. I had said 2 months previously.
Yes.
We currently only have 59 days and 23 hours and 50 minutes.
He ponders the numbers if that's a long or not long time. As he starts running again.
You continue along for a little bit, and then the delicious scent of fast food hits your nose. And you feel your stomach grumble.
What
and you
is
turn off
that?
and you see a large building that is shaped like a rabbit's head, and on the front it says Burger Bunny. And you hesitate for a moment as you recognize that. You grab the little bunny that's hooked on your armor, and you hold it up to the building and lower it down as you realize it's the exact same thing as your little charm.
Oh my god, it's huge!
What do you mean it's huge? That is not our target.
Like a big
Our
arrow
target is in
appears
that
on your vision
direction.
pointing to the left.
You just said we still have roughly 59 days, 20 hours, and whatever. It's just a small. I just want to have a look at it. It's totally not gonna
She's
end
like
badly.
super angry as you walk into the... It's basically somewhere between a Chuck E. Cheese and a McDonald's as you walk in. You know, you walk in, there's like playpens, arcades, there's kids eating fucking big burgers that have like bread bunny ears coming off them. You know, like, you're just like awestruck at like the spectacle and the fun. The guy in like a mascot costume walks by. Welcome to Burger Bunny!
He's real.
Are you here for a party? You don't seem to have a kid with you. Hang on. Sir, what are you doing here?
I just came to look.
Okay. The booking kiosk is over there if you want to book a party for your kids. And he just like points over to a counter and like slumps down. God, I hate my job. He starts walking away. When will the world end already so I don't have to keep up with this 9 to 5 drag?
59 days,
You
23
can't.
hours.
Do you like head to the information kiosk, or you also notice there's like a party going on with a table full of burgers that kids are eating and stuff?
Is it one of those like new McDonald's terminals with like screens, or is it just a person?
It's just a person.
I don't think I want to book a table. Don't have a kid. I'm just gonna fucking eye the menu and like
Yeah, start, like,
lollygag for a little while.
yeah, start lingering around. As you look around, you know, you can see all the food and stuff, and you know, it's gross trash food, but to you, it's a wondrous, delicious, like, collection of meals you've never had in your life. And you feel your stomach growl again as you hear, like, children at Benjamin's birthday party, make your way to the stage for the show! And all the kids at the nearby table scurry off to a little stage. You notice there's just a table full of food sitting there.
They're not gonna. I mean, is this? A little bite
You
won't hurt.
go over and take a bite out of the burger, and an explosion of juicy flavors fill your tongue as you taste for the first time in your life cooked beef. And on top of it, ketchup, lettuce, mayonnaise, mustard, pickles. It's an explosion of flavor unlike anything you've ever experienced.
A tear runs down the side of my face.
And as you revel in the amazingness of what you've just tasted, the stage nearby, the curtain opens up, and you see a giant robot bunny stood there, 8 feet tall.
Zoom on Ben's panicked face. The burger, like, still in his mouth, like, you know, like, mid-chew, he stops eating.
Hey there, kids! Ready for a magic show? And it like, pulls off its bow tie, and a little puff of fire shoots out of it.
Just instant fear.
How does Ben respond to seeing a robot bunny shoot fire towards children?
He's no hero in your original sense. He's gonna probably, like, duck for cover behind the desk and
Like throw
reach
the...
for, like, probably, like, I don't know, did I get any weapons with me at all? Like, for the pistol that would normally be at his hip.
Oh god, we didn't talk about if you had weapons, did we?
No.
Beyond your powers.
Nope.
Huh. He's a sniper primarily, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to.
So you have a collapsed laser sniper rifle on your back as your weapon.
Alright, then it's time to assemble that bad boy.
Yeah, like it's basically a push of a button and the whole thing expands out. Like, I imagine you, like, kick up the table that had the food on to use as a shield. So I can kick up the table, pull out your gun, and just, like, aim it at the robot.
I didn't think I would start my first session with a shooting in a fucking kid's party. This is not good.
God. Immediately, a bunch of people, like, look over in confusion. Carbide's just like,
What are you doing?
It's firing!
Do you fire at the robot?
I'm gonna take aim, and by God, I hope Carbide can stop me.
Alright. You know what? Let's do a skill check of you versus Carbide. You know, we didn't give you any sharpshooter skill, but that's a thing do you think that's a thing you would have? You're more of a runner than a fighter, so maybe not.
He's supposed to be, the one thing he's supposed to be good at is long range. He's supposed to suck at pretty much everything else,
Yeah,
but...
that's totally one of those things we talked about, but I didn't think about when we were putting together your character stats.
Mhm.
So, just add into your character stats, like sharpshooter skill. +1 die whenever using your gun, essentially. Which... you aim up your laser gun at the fucking thing, you know, aiming down the scope, and Carbide's like, and starts trying to like wrestle the grasp from you, and you're like, basically, you are fighting your own robot arm.
Can I make a suggestion?
What?
They have one of my eyes. They could just take my vision, and I can't aim.
Well, I mean, you still have a human eye that you can look through the scope with.
Yeah, but the
God.
depth perception is kind of ass then.
Yeah, I like to think you like look through the scope with your robot eye, and then like that turns off, so you quickly change eyes, and then your robot arm starts like wiggling the barrel, and you're like fighting back against Carbide.
While everyone else in the fucking shop just sees a mad human, completely normal in quotation marks. Ugh.
The gun fires off and fucking blows off the ear of the robot, and immediately, like, the laser shoots, and immediately people are like, ah! And Carbide's like, God damn it, and then an overshield goes in front of your face, and suddenly, you're gone, and you're sitting up in, like on the roof of the building, in a blink of pink light.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
And like all of your cloaking is down, and now you have like your robotic appearance again.
The temporal blink took a lot of my charge just then. I don't think I should take you more than a few feet next time, but you idiot!
It was evil.
Robots aren't evil yet. They don't turn evil for another 2 months. That was a children's entertainment
He's just
figure.
fucking as winded as Carbide is from the jump, like leans on the side of the fucking wall.
Like lean on like the giant ear because you're on top of the building.
Yeah.
Of all the idiots I could have been sent back in time with, I'm sent back with somebody who has such a fear of robots that not only could you not go out to field operations, which yes, I know that, I can read your memory, you were denied field operations because of your own phobia of the very things that were threatening humanity. What use is a resistance member who's afraid of robots? And now that we've gone back in time where you don't even need to be afraid, now is the moment you choose to open fire on the robots.
Listen, it's a very justified fear. You just said it's the thing that threatens humanity. Don't be mean.
You're the most useless resistance member. However are we going to find Ruben Vermey when I'm stuck inside of your head?
Anonymous shooter,
And you look up to see a large red robot flying in the air on rocket, like a jetpack propulsion. Like it's roughly like man shape, like a little bit bigger than a person, maybe about like 9 feet tall, bulky. Has got 2 big like cannon looking, like laser cannon looking arms, and like almost a series of antennas around it that have a similar like, or no, 2 antennas I should say, sticking out in a manner similar to your antennae. And immediately there's a bunch of people looking up like, huh? Like confused at the sight, you know, people from the street seeing a big red robot. Which You would recognize this robot as one of the most dangerous of the death bots. The infamous Crimson King robot.
I start aiming my weapon at it, but not firing this time because I was told I'm not supposed to shoot at every robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stand down now, anonymous shooter.
Carbine's gonna go,
Oh my god. Do you know who that is?
No?
and then
Alright.
the camera's still going,
That is...
I'm the Crimson King, and I'm afraid I can't stand for
and
crime
with
in
that
my
we're gonna
city.
move the camera inside of, like, the view inside of the armor, as Carbide says. And we see
That's
Ruben sitting
Ruben.
inside of the armor, the bulky chest, like, he's basically, his feet are in with the robot's feet, and he's inside of, like, a little pod, like a mech pilot pod, reaching around poking buttons to control it, as he's basically in a giant, like, he's in a robot armor suit. And the Carbide instantly knows who it is, and sort of, this is moments where I'm gonna say things that you as a player don't, or as a character don't know, but for the sake of audience. He's sitting inside typing at things like Maroon, can you get a read on this guy? I'm detecting an unusual wavelength coming from him. Almost like... Yes, I'm detecting it too, Master. That's carbonic particles. Those are only theoretical, though. We believed they were only theoretical. This is most unusual. Well, I guess this is the ideal opportunity to make our debut to the public. Let's shut this fucker down, huh? And with that, we're gonna slide
Right away,
into full
sir.
combat. And the player gets the first action.
Well, you're welcome. We found him. So what are we supposed to do?
Well, we just need to talk with him. Get him to understand that we're here to help him what's going on. Hang on. Why am I detecting charging inside of his particle beam cannon? Uh-oh. We just shot up a children's entertainment business, didn't we?
Yeah, I guess.
He might not think we're on his side exactly. Okay. Goal number 1, survive. Goal number 2, follow him wherever he's going.
I'm gonna try and
Got
jump
it.
off the roof for cover, like behind the building, essentially.
Like, slide
Yes.
down the domed building.
Yeah.
Because the whole building is like a half circle, shaped like the bunny's head.
Oh, so the building is in the shape. I thought just the roof. Like,
Yeah, no,
you know, like
the
a
whole
little-
building is shaped like the rabbit's head, and like when you walk in through the front door, you walk in through, it's got like a big open mouth with like the big bucked teeth, and you're basically like, the open mouth is windows and the buck teeth are double doors. And that's how you had walked in earlier. And now you're sliding down the back of its head as he's getting ready to shoot his laser cannon at you.
Alright.
Our first seeing of actual super characters in universe. Yay! Well, aside from Mothman, who is badass. Or just the Moth.
I personally really don't feel super about all this.
Huh? Oh, that's so funny. In chat, they said, oh no, some of the other players are like sitting in chat together listening, and apparently they were just like, new objective, survive, right as I said it, and they were just like, that's funny. Anyway,
One brain cell.
you fucking you basically like hightail it running down the back of the building like shit, as he charges particle cannon and basically like carves a giant laser and cuts off the ear of the rabbit. And you slide down the back of the building, and like as you're sliding down, there's an open dumpster that you just poof into.
Trash to trash, that checks out.
Hang on. I'm going to try and initiate
And with that,
something.
we're gonna get another flashback. You dazed, sitting inside of waking up inside of the Alright, you're waking up after having been crushed underneath the giant death robot. Your vision blurry, you sit up a little bit. You raise your hand to your head, and as you slowly open your eyes, you see a robot hand on your face, and you immediately go into panic, throwing yourself back and falling off the bed, and you realize the robot arm has followed you, and you scream in fear again when you suddenly hear
Calm down
And you
there.
look
Calm
over,
down.
and you see Ruben sitting over you. Again, this is in the future again, like immediately after when you had gotten crushed.
In the future, yet for me in the past.
Yes.
What is this? What?
And you realize it's
relax.
Ruben sitting there calming you down.
I'm Ruben Vermey. This is the headquarters of the Resistance. You got crushed underneath that robot, and I was able
He
to treat
helps you up to buy the robotic arm.
You lost an arm and an eye, but we were able to get you prosthetic
You-
limbs.
Like realize like the robot arm on you and everything, and he's like,
Actually, funnily enough, we got them right from the robot that was attacking
He's
you.
like quietly just moving, like, you know, inspecting the hand, like kind of awkward, anxious about it.
Nothing to be worried about. It doesn't have any connection to
God,
Crimson's
I'm getting
main...
tongue-tied.
It doesn't have any connection to Crimson's mainframe. It's entirely yours now.
Thank you.
You were pretty beat up. You must have been surviving out there
He
for a while.
turns
huh?
off or like turns to the side to like look at his equipment. You look at him, and he's like this big ripped man with like I'm talking like bara beefy ripped, like buffer than Arnold
Chiseled.
Schwarzenegger, big red beard that runs down to his belly button. He's wearing like on his head he's got like a little like metal crown similar to your earpieces in appearance, like with two little antenna things, and he's he's like holding a big hammer thing, and he immediately turns to the side and starts like blacksmith. You're in like a workshop, and he's just doing blacksmith work in nothing but a loose fitting pair of pants,
He's like a dwarf, but not a dwarf.
but bigger. He's like a giant dwarf, a dwarf with gigantism. All around him, little robot arms are like operating machinery, and like you feel like a panic settle over you as you see them. He's like, he taps his headpiece.
Don't worry about those. They're all hooked up to this. My crown. It's how I control them. None of them have artificial intelligence. It's all my thoughts controlling their movements.
I've never seen anything like that.
I really owe it to my previous iterations. I guess I have a lot to catch you up on, huh? I'm Ruben Vermey. I suppose you have me to blame for
Gives a
everything that's
little
happening
cheeky
here.
smile. And now back into the present day. Has Carbine says,
As I pick a fucking banana peel off my forehead.
yeah, with your robot hand, and like you're picking off with the robot hand, and Carbine's like, suddenly your
Let me
robot
try and
head
initiate
grows
something.
gigantic, and like it grows to double its size and has razor sharp claws.
Oh my,
It seemed as though this was a collapsed down version of a Killbot's arm. I simply reactivated the Killbot functionality. This should help us to defend ourselves. The armor plating on it is completely laser-proof. And in addition, you should be able to scale walls with these claws in a rudimentary
So
fashion.
yeah, now you got a giant robot arm, and all of a sudden you start getting like more UI things.
If you need me to activate the cloaking, let me know. Previously, your cloaking was rudimentary, trying to detect its surroundings and to display holographic imagery. But I've retrofitted it. Instead, I'll show wherever you stand 10 minutes in the past. That should be a much more adequate version of the cloaking system. And I've of course got an overshield protecting
You currently
your face
have like
and
basically a
identity
hard
that-
light projection, a purple projection in front of you. Like, do you have artwork of what that looked like? You do, don't? Did you make artwork of that? I think you were planning on it. It's just supposed to be like hard purple with a triangle, right?
yes, it's supposed to have like that white triangle, the anti-face tracking mask, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, so he has like a shining purple light in front of his face with a white triangle on it. Basically, I'm giving you the rundown of your powers if you haven't picked up on it. Hold on, I
Yeah.
just lost. There's the tab. The tab with your powers. So she tells you like she can cloak you, and she says
While that last blink took a lot out of me, I can move us around. I can displace us in time, moving us to a nearby location. Although, probably not much further than a couple meters.
I mean, cloaking sounds good. Do that one.
She cloaks you, and now you're
Right.
just floating garbage.
I shouldn't be. From 10 minutes ago? No.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. The little field projects around you, and the dumpster, like all of the trash that you crushed down, basically reinflates visibly from the outside perspective. She also says,
I'm currently trying to predict possible future flows of time. I'll try and give you a heads up if there's an attack coming your way again. Speaking of which, we might want to get moving.
and with that,
All right.
Ruben flies over ahead, and you see he's like, behind him, a swarm of tiny little drones are like picking up the ear that he just cut off and are like trying to prop it back up and weld it back to the building.
Oh.
And he flies over.
Where'd you go, mystery man? I don't see anyone. Maroon, give me infrared vision.
The infrared would have worked on your
And he's like
old
looking
cloaking.
around trying to find you.
Yeah,
don't
as
see
I like
any.
cartoonishly like run under him.
Yeah, like you're gonna just basically run underneath him. Like, do you have any particular plan of action you want to do?
I mean, I'm supposed to follow him after the fight, so I'll just try and hope he runs out of willpower to find me at some point.
So you're basically like standing there cloaked, like hiding.
Yeah.
Nothing detected with infrared. Hold on, I'll turn their Vidia. Scan the area for carbonic particles.
Oh no, he's gonna be able to see us with
And
that.
from his point of view,
he's
just
gonna
a-
really
like,
see us.
he's got like the UI. It goes from the fucking infrared to like everything being slightly purple tinged, and there's just a glowing purple sphere where you stand.
Okay, cloaking doesn't work on him. We need to do something else.
There you are. You
And we're
think you
gonna
can
say
hide?
that his turn was spent switching divisions, so it is your turn. God, back into proper turn-based format. What do you do?
Crying is a free action, right?
Yes, crying is a free action.
I'm gonna try and like dash under him so you'll have to turn around in order to at least charge at me.
So you're basically prepping dodge.
Yeah.
All right.
All
so
the while, like, how do we feel about attacking him? I don't feel good about attacking him. Should we attack him?
As much as I hate to say it, if we can damage his armor, he may have to retreat for repairs. At which point we can follow him back to his lab.
I'm like, alright, running, looking over my shoulder, trying to figure out what might be a good shot.
So,
Because I
hang on.
don't want to kill him.
Are you gonna use your action to prep a dodge or prep a shot? That's an important distinguishment.
I guess prep a shot.
One thing I will also say is that due to you having your cloaking field up, he's going to have a disadvantage on attacking you
Alright.
because you're more of a big blob right now rather than a single target on his visor. And so sorry, are you gonna shoot now or so hang on, how do I put this? When you prep an action, you're basically spending this turn doing nothing. But next with the prepped shot, you can either attack on the enemy's turn without the normal counterattack disadvantage, or you can carry that prep to the next turn and attack on your next turn with an advantage.
I was gonna have it as the later, playing
Okay.
it out as trying to figure out a weak spot, or like a spot that won't kill fucking Ruben, but
Okay.
only damage the robot.
So, as you're doing that, he's basically gonna charge his laser and try and fire at you again. What is your reaction to being shot at by that?
Well, I would say dodge, but I'm spending my action prepping my shot, so...
So hang on, you spent your action prepping a shot. We then switch to his turn where he uses an action to shoot you and you get a reaction. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
so
I'm
that
gonna
doesn't
dodge.
interfere your prepping.
I honestly keep having the scene in my head because I'm still cloaked for everyone else, and there's still cars around, which I don't recognize road safety.
Yeah,
I'm expected to get hit by a car, like a stray
Okay.
car.
So
like,
you're
not
running.
even.
I didn't really think about what was behind. In my brain, it was a parking lot behind the building.
Ah, okay. I was thinking like busy road, like a drive-in or something. All right.
Yeah, no, sorry. Sometimes I'm bad at describing scenes, and I need to be better about that.
That's all good.
So yeah, it's a parking lot that you're sort of like in an empty lot behind the property, you know,
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and dodge. Like just.
like various parked cars, trash cans, etc. So you dodge, you got a +1 roll, and he got a total of, due to being at disadvantage, -1. So he actually is gonna critically fail on his shot. He charges up his fire and he starts firing at you, and as you dodge away, you basically jump past a car, and as his shot tapers off into a smaller beam, it hits a car mirror and reflects back at him. Which by the way, I haven't brought up. The combat hotbar. There we go.
Combat hotbar.
So basically, him failing there is going to move it 1 in your favor. Have I explained the combat hotbar to you yet? So, rather than health bar mechanics in Hero Infinite to allow for more dynamic and interesting combat scenes, we have the challenge bar, which is a sort of tug of war going on. Whenever you make a successful action, the bar fills up more in your favor. Whenever the enemy succeeds in action, it moves more in their favor. So it creates a dynamic back and forth until one group gets a significant advantage, winning the fight.
All right.
As you're scanning him over looking for a weak spot, you realize if you don't want to majorly fuck him up, the best place would be the jetpack on his back, which, God, let me describe his armor better, because I don't know if I described it very good. The center of the armor is a large sphere with 2 large antennae coming off it that are shaped like the ones on your little crown area.
Right.
Off the back is a pair of 2, basically jet wings with rockets on them that are about 2 meters long each, and his central sphere is about 1 meter around, or 2 meters around roughly. He's a big bulky boy. And then he's got a pair of big bulky legs and a pair of big bulky arms, which are the arms basically are just giant cannons right now, is what they look like.
All right.
And so he's if you fire at his jets, you might make him have to retreat, is what you realize. Alternatively, you could fire at his cannons and try and disable his shooting.
I'm gonna try and go for the jets.
Alright. So you're rolling the normal 5, plus 1 advantage from prepping your shot, plus 1 extra die from your skill with shooting.
Right.
So... And of course, if you want to spend any hero points, let me know. Oh,
Yeah, no,
you
I'm
jittered
good.
small again.
Oh no!
Tiny bin.
Tiny bin.
Tiny bin. Holy fuck. So he rolled 1 success. You rolled 7.
Okay.
So, that difference, basically what happens from here is I take the higher roll and divide it by the smaller, and that's how many points you move in your advantage. Which
Alright.
means in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Jesus.
God, I'm imagining you're fully cloaked, you're running, dodging the laser he fires at you, and you spin around. You know, you've got the one big robot arm, bulky arm, and in your normal human arm, you're holding the laser gun. In a swift motion, you bring it up, line the scope up with your vision, and you time it perfectly, firing the laser, and it goes through and right into the propulsion section of the jet, which just explodes, and he starts sputtering and spinning around in the air. Inside of his thing, little alarms are going off.
We're losing altitude, sir. Ah, shit. Initiate emergency
And with that,
propulsion ejection.
both the jetpack wings go flying off his back, and the little drones go out and catch them as he lands down on his, on the ground and looks up towards you.
This man's a better shot than I expected. Alright. This is a desperate situation. Why don't we break out the big gun, Maroon? I'm sure, sir. If we miss the shot, we may be running out of charge. I'm
And
positive.
with that, one of
Drop the
his
hammer.
hands stop being cannons, and you see they just become like fists. Like basically, a little metal plate slides up over the head of it, and fingers fold out of those. So now it's a pair of hands, and it's now his turn. And you see as he like angles it back a little bit, and a pair of jump jets come out the bottom of the sphere and start charging up, and he winds up like he's gonna punch you, and he's several meters away. But you realize between the jets and the fist, he's gonna basically rocket punch you.
Oh no. No, I think now we've made him extra angry. Like, left, right, left, right. Is there, like, what's behind me?
Behind you is a number of like cars and a build. Actually, I'll let you determine. Is the angling at the do you want it to be a random building behind you, or do you want to be positioned so that the burger place is behind you again?
From the way it was in my mind, it wouldn't be the burger place, but that's why I was asking, is there anything behind me that would be like, you don't want to damage this, like, you don't want to break into the nail parlor that's across the street and kill innocent
Get a
civilians?
hero point for considering that. Behind you is a like basically a generic city building that might be like apartments or office building. It's a nondescript building from the outside. So you're gonna want to try and stop him from punching the building, essentially.
Yeah, I'd kind of gonna like try and run, I guess loop around, so he would
All
have to
around
dash-
there are buildings. No matter what, if he's running at you, he's gonna charge a building.
Crap.
You do have your own big-ass robot arm.
Oh no, I don't like what you're suggesting. I don't think I can stop him with that. Fine.
You're gonna try and catch him?
Ben closes his eyes, covers his face with one hand, and like brings up the robot arm, ready to catch
Okay.
him.
So for context, the strength of your robot arm has you rolling 1 extra die for a total of 6. His special attack has him rolling a total of 6, but then he has a disadvantage, meaning one of his successes will be removed afterward. Are you gonna spend any hero points
I just got one, so let me spend that one.
to buy an extra die?
Yes, please.
Oh, that one you just bought was a 10.
Nay.
Which didn't burst into anything. But, with a difference of on one side 3 successes, and on the other side no successes, he charges forward, and you fucking realize that there's buildings behind. And I'm going to rule this. Behind you is the restaurant, because I think it will make for a
Okay.
better scene. As he flies towards you on the rocket boost, and you bring up your big robot arm and catch his fist and go sliding back. And fucking, you like slide towards the building, you know? And you realize you're about to be pummeled into the wall. When Carbide goes,
Oh god damn it!
and then the two of you are in front of the building and go sliding into the street as the rockets die down, and you fucking basically like heave him to the side, and as you do, you hear, and then a truck rams into the giant robot suit he's in, and basically pulls him out of your hand.
Oh my god.
And
God,
get a
evil.
hero point for the see they are evil joke. That's a good one. That's wicked good. Jesus. You've won the fight with that. As he gets fucking slammed by the truck.
Damn.
And you're like looking over there. Yeah, you say, see, they are evil. And you hear Carbide.
I think I need a little.
And you see all the like pink overlays in your vision go away. As Carbide basically falls asleep from having drained himself. But you still have full ability to activate any of the powers. You could almost like feel switches being turned on and off in your brain in a sense. So if you will it, you can like the cloak can be maintained and stuff, for example.
Part of me is thinking that probably have the baby cloaking, wouldn't I?
Yeah, but you're still invisible either way.
Yeah.
And your arm is stuck in the big mode because you don't know how to make it small.
Oh.
And
I mean, what's more important now anyway is seeing if Ruben's survived the car crash.
You rush over and you see, like, the truck has stopped, and as you, like, run over, you can see, fucking Ruben's hand, like, raise up, and it opens up, and the truck driver is sitting there, like, curled up, because the entire front of the truck is crushed, and the truck driver's just curled up, like, I'm alive? Sweet Jesus, I'm alive. And he carefully, like, crawls off the giant robot arm, and, yeah, you hear inside,
Sorry.
and you see the robot, like, get up, like, with a little bit of a limp. Oh, shit.
Maroon, we need to
Well,
get the
you
hell
can't
out
hear
of
that
here.
from the inside. Like, that's him speaking.
He's like, Maroon, we need to get the hell out of here. Eject me.
Are you sure, sir? We have not tested
And
the
you
ejector.
watch as the
just
entire
eject
front
me.
of the pod opens up, and you see, like, the steam lets out, and you see sitting there, Ruben. But instead of the big buff Ruben you know, you see a overweight, pot-bellied guy in his 30s with shaggy, unkempt beard and like a wife beater shirt, you know, like a white tank top and jeans. He's sitting there like, and you see him hit the eject button, and you realize he's about to fly away. Essentially,
That's not
do you
what
just
I
let him fly
expected.
away, or do you try and do something?
God, Carbon, I wish you were here. Sir?
I imagine
I
you
need
like
to
walk
talk to
forward,
you.
like talk to speak with him as you let your cloaking down.
Yeah.
And you've got
Like, do I even know? I let the cloak down. I don't know if I know how to operate the face shield on my own.
That's your call. You
I'll
undrop.
just hit against my head and hope it turns off.
Yeah, you like knock. You extend out your robot arm as you say like I need to talk with you, and you like knock on like the side of your thing, and the thing turns off, and he's like, huh? Like he looks over horror, like with a look of terror on his face, and he's wearing the same crown that old Ruben did. You realize like the exact same crown it looks like, except in better condition. And then his rocket fires up, like his seat rockets out. And as it does, your robot hand gets hooked on it, and you're pulled into the sky with him.
Loud yelling that I will spare everyone.
You're flying through it, and he's like scrambling, like you used to notice he's like trying to he's basically punching your robot arm, trying to get you to let go.
I'm holding on for dear life, just digging my claw deeper into the metal.
And you go flying in the air above the cloud line, and then go flying down and right through a little hole in the top of the Burmay Industries, where you crash down hard through like basically like a you know those missile silo doors?
I think so, yeah.
Like one of those had opened up, and you crash into that, and basically you get crushed underneath his seat and lose your consciousness.
Oh shit.
And with that, we have another flashback scene. And it's you walking with Ruben through the Resistance City. Basically picture the Resistance City from Matrix, but with much more neon. And you know, you're like seeing the Resistance City, something you've never seen before. You know, you grew up in the Wasteland alone. You didn't know there's a massive city of resistance.
Welcome to, well, the last bastion of humanity. For about the 5th time.
What do you mean by that?
There's been several resistance cities. Every single one of us fell to Crimson One catching up to us. We're always being able to outplan and predict what we're doing. But we're always just barely a step ahead, able to save enough of our people each time.
He like leans onto the railing looking over the people.
I like to be open with everybody. What happened here to the world, it's my fault, in a sense. Or my previous me's fault. I'm part of a long line of clones of the Ruben Vermey. He was a brilliant mind in the old world, but he created the AI that would eventually go rogue and threaten all of humanity. When he realized his life was nearing its end, he created a cloning device so that he could go on and try and fix his mistakes. I have the memories of countless lifetimes locked away in my head right now. I can still remember the world before vaguely, but it's foggy.
I don't
What was it
think.
like? No, go ahead. There was like such a long pause. I was unsure.
Yeah, now you got. Yeah, you asked what it was like second.
Better than now. I remember I did much the same thing though. Making machines, fighting, to help people. But the finer points escape me. Well, I'd like to offer you a position here on the Resistance.
The robots are attacking everyone down.
Sorry, something fell over in the room. Basic. Man, I lost my train of thought hard there.
Position in
yeah.
the resistance.
Now we've saved you, I'd like to offer you a position in the Resistance. You don't need to accept it, you can just live here in the city with everyone else. But well, you've survived out there long enough. You've got to have some talents that we can make use of, right?
I mean, you saved me. It's the least I could do to repay
He
you.
pats you on the
I
back.
appreciate it. What's your name, anyway?
My name is Bendover.
Bend over. That's an interesting name.
And he,
Let's get you cleaned up.
with that, he
Ben.
starts like, well, you cut ahead again, to you waking up, like dizzily. As you wake up, you realize you're in a familiar situation of being on a surgery table. And as you sit up, you realize you're strapped down. And you look over, and your robot arm is gone.
Carbide, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. But
And then
we're in
you
a little
realize
bit of a
your like
situation.
crown earpieces are removed and are like those and your arm are hung up across the room.
It's
You hear-
really
no, you-
interesting.
Look over and you see Ruben sitting there in like a big like swivel wheelchair, at like leaned way back, like you know, like the classic neck beard position.
Wheelchair?
No, not wheel, like a wheel, like an office chair.
Right, okay.
Yeah, sorry. And he's in like the classic neck beard position, leaned way back with his hand on a computer mouse, clicking around.
This looks almost like something I would invent, these...
And he
headpiece
taps
of
his
yours.
crown that does look not too dissimilar.
That's quite a bit of carbonic radiation you're giving off. So tell me, who are
And
you?
that is actually going to be the ending moment of the last session. Or, I mean, the first session, I mean.
And the line.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So, yeah. That was Hero Infinite's Bend Over Backwards. Because Bend Over went backwards in time. I love the name you came up with.
It's awful.
It's great.
You see, I've had this character for about 1.5 years now, and it started off as a joke, but it's just grown so, like, iconic that I wouldn't even be able to change it at this point.
Yeah, here. So, for context, that Hero Infinite originally began as like a small campaign with my friends that quickly grew outside of my scope of operations and stressed me out, and I basically had to pull the plug on it because I had too much going on in my life. And this entirely new iteration, like, sort of puts all of that to the wayside. To Bend Over was from that old setting, put in as a fun joke character.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's Arm's main character, and honestly, I couldn't have. I think this is the best character you could have put back because he's such a good combination of like comedy and interesting stuff.
Hopefully so.
I'm excited for more of Hero Infinite in general, but Bend Over as well.
I had fun. Thank you for DMing.
Yee. Which, everybody watching it at home, come back next week for more Hero Infinite, as always. And some things to expect include, of what's coming up that I'm talking about with others. A incredibly powerful sidekick in an unexpected package. A relic of the First World War. And a Catboy, amongst other things, as well as, of course, seeing the return of some of our other previous heroes. Do you want me to, link to the same things below on YouTube that I linked to with the,
Yes.
My GF Makes Me Read Homestuck? Which, by the way, if you want to see more of me and Arm interacting, My GF Makes Me Read Homestuck, I hope all you have a wonderful day. Do you have anything you want to plug, Arm?